All right, let's talk about the things they don't tell you when you start an eBay. They'll tell you, oh boy, you're gonna make so much money, it's so easy. Just take a picture of an item, put it on there, and you'll make some money. Is that true? Yeah, it's true. Is it exactly what happens? Not necessarily. There is things that you need to consider when you are looking to start an eBay. One of those things is all the extra costs that go with it. I'm talking about shipping costs. That's a cost you got to think about. I'm talking about fees, multiple fees. If you didn't know, eBay has a final value fee on every item you sell. And then also there's a thing called promoted listings. A lot of people promote their listings to get a higher rank on the search. And when you do this, you'll make more sales. However, you will also be paying more on your fees. So those are a couple things you got to think about. Now, is it a ton that you're looking at? No. However, it adds up over sales. So if you're looking at 10% final value fees, 7% promoted listing, and shipping costs, that's going to add up. And every sale that you make, say it's a total of 25% is fees that you're paying into, you automatically go from, say, a sold item of $100, you're only pocketing truly $75. So it's something you got to think about. And a lot of people don't tell you this when they get into eBay. And one of the things that I think most people need to also consider is the shipping costs, because UPS and USPS, FedEx, all their rates have been going up, if you haven't noticed. And another thing they are doing lately is they're rounding up your measurements of, say, your boxes. And if you have a box that is a certain length with UPS and it goes over the oversize of 48 inches, that box goes from being like a $15 shipping cost to almost $50. That's a huge difference, and you could lose all your income on that sale. So, does that mean you will make no money selling on eBay? No, you just got to be smarter and beat the system. How do you do that? The easiest way that you're going to do it is you need to get your items as cheap as possible. Now, it's not easy because everyone wants the cheapest item possible. However, it is possible to be done, and you have to be on the search and looking for these items. Now, if you do get items that are cheap enough, you need to also look up their sold comps. There is a thing called a sell-through rate. If there's 100 listings that are listed right now of, say, a computer game, and only one has sold in the last year, that's not a good sell-through. That means 100 people have that game and only one has ever sold. So that would not be a good sell-through rate. You would want something to where there's like 5 things listed and thousands have sold. That's a great sell-through rate. You need to be looking into all the numbers all together. And that's how you will decide what you want. Also, you are going to want to look at the cheapest way to ship as well. Now, there is obviously UPS, FedEx, and USPS. Those are most likely the choices you'll be making. But you need to look into what your item will ship for the cheapest. For me, which I ship a lot of golf clubs and golf boxes, UPS seems to be the cheapest. If I was to take that same box and put it USPS priority, it'll be 2 to 3 times the price UPS will ship it for. And it's not as quick of a shipment. USPS seems to take a lot longer and they don't move things as fast. So it's also helping your customer. So it's another thing you gotta look at. Now, this was a lot of things that you gotta consider and a lot of dreary things like fees and promotion and shipping costs. to where it's like almost a headache. Like, well, I just want to get $100 for my pair of Nikes that I have. And hey, maybe you can. But it's just a thing to consider and a thing to look into when you're listing it, to know that, yeah, it sold for $100. You're not getting $100, but you still will be profiting as long as you get it cheap. So what is to be learned from this? Buy things cheap, sell it high. That's the best way to win. That's the only way to win. So again, always be on the lookout for the cheap items, but make sure they're well sold cheap items. Don't just buy garbage and think it's gonna sell because it was cheap. You have to be actually doing your research on what you're buying. And when you find something worth it, buy it, list it, and make that money. All right, so that's all we're gonna talk about today. Catch you on the next one.